Welcome to the Intercut podcast channel, where we are recapping some of the most notable premieres from the 2025 Sundance Film Festival. I am your co-host, Zachary Shevich, joined by my co-host, Arturo Zurita, and in the other room making us some French toast is Amanda the Jedi.
But do you even like French toast?
But do you even like it? No, you must.
No, you
We are talking
it.
about the film Ojai. Ojai follows a new couple played by Molly Gordon and Logan Lerman, whose first romantic weekend getaway together starts to go awry. This is the second feature film from writer-director Sophie Brooks and also stars Geraldine Viswanathan, John Reynolds, and David Cross, all of whom are very funny actors. Amanda, what did you like about Ojai?
I don't know. I didn't know what to expect from this because the description was so basic, and the poster, the image that they chose is just them romantically like dancing. So I'm like, this could just be like a boring rom-com or just like a romance, just no com, just dram. Or it could be something funny. And for me, it kind of went in a direction because I didn't see those teaser pictures they ended up taking to call homage to something else, which it's really not doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's some, you know, either way. I don't even know how to talk about this without, so I'm not going to spoil it, but there's like a dynamic here between the two of them that is so funny when two people have such fundamentally different views of what a dynamic or a relationship is and what happens when it goes to the extreme, when someone feels so, I don't want to throw the word gaslit around lightly, but when they just feel so like rug pulled in the situation that they're in, like I'm like, my whole reality feels like it's shifting right now because I don't know what you're saying to me. And then the person's just kind of like, no, like it's totally this. And it's like, you're making me sound insane, but you're insane. And I just love that dynamic.
I'm crazy.
Yeah.
I'm crazy.
Like, I'm crazy. I'm crazy. That's exactly like there's like these modern dating stories are getting so interesting because I feel like sadly the world we live in has shifted the bounds of how relationships happen so significantly that it's making way for like dynamics that probably this kind of despair, this kind of like these situations where you don't know what's happening, this like constant like barrage of like options or theoretical options. This has introduced me to a new term I didn't know, the counter to the fuckboy, the soft boy.
The soft boy, the soft boy epidemic.
Yeah,
Alex Wolff, Magic
it.
Farm.
Yes, I get
there
it.
There were so many
out there. They're out there. There's these guys that are just kind of like, or people in general, I'm sure like there's women who do
Carmi
it too.
the Bear.
Carmi the Bear, like people that are just like
epidemic.
They're versus like the fuckboys who are just kind of like trying to get with you, and then you're hoping they want
loud,
more. These are the guys who are kind of like promising you, or they seem to be promising you that emotional side of things, of the actual companionship, and then they're like, but I'm doing that with 5 different people.
This is like specifically a movie about the awkwardness of a new relationship, and particularly the awkwardness about being potentially not as invested in a new relationship as your partner is, right? And, you know, there are different milestones or thresholds that we all have. And for some, a romantic getaway might mean one thing. For another person, it might not be the same thing. And where Ojai is kind of fun is in sort of navigating the real, like, nuances and awkwardness. And undefined, definable areas of it all, the known knowns and known unknowns or whatever for quoting War Criminals. But I think like the thing about this movie is it also sort of that unknown about what the genre was is part of my reaction to it too, because I wasn't sure exactly what this movie wanted to be, whether it wanted to be like a kind of Saving Silverman-esque farcical screw-up comedy, or if it's going for more of like a millennial twist on misery that's more akin to something that should be in the midnight section. And it kind of does both. Yeah. And maybe like this is a point where we'll talk a little bit more specifically about what happens in the film. But, you know, I think it was like interesting, fun time. And you maybe liked it the most out of all of us, Amanda.
For sure.
I was not exactly sure on which direction the movie was going in.
That's fair.
Maybe
it's because it would have worked on me. I'm like, yo, she crazy. She can try it, though.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I wouldn't be Logan Lerman, but, you know, it's just one of those things. I guess this is just kind of like the tone of movie that does really work for me. I do find myself really drawn to these kind of like Is it a comedy? Is it a horror? Is it a thriller? What is it? I'm a big fan of Molly Gordon's humor, which I know we all are. Like, we all
She's great.
walked away loving theater camp. And yeah, maybe some of this was just like festival hype, but it is one that I'm really excited to revisit. I think it has a lot of fun moments. I love Geraldine. I know when we did the preview and you were like, my girl Geraldine's in it. And I was like, because I forgot who that was for a minute. I was like, oh, I do love her. She is hilarious.
Yeah,
she's great. And she was doing her regular accent.
She was doing her regular accent.
The bit has been that her American accent is her costume.
Yeah.
So she asked for one thing, and it was her being able to do that. And then midway through doing that, she realized, hey, yo, like, I never get off of this. The American accent allowed me to take a break.
Yeah.
So I thought that was goofy.
And they work it for the plot here. They work it for the plot. Like,
it works pretty decently.
Well, yeah, because it takes a little conflict and makes it huge. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
She's using her native Australian accent, and I'm always like suspicious of people who critique accents, because when I was walking out of the movie, I heard somebody saying,
funny.
I heard somebody saying, her British accent wasn't really sticking all the time.
That's good, because it wasn't.
Dude,
people do that, though.
Funny.
People
we
do
had
that,
so
though.
many of those, yeah. Someone else talked about a midnight movie, and they're like, the director didn't know what he was doing. We got the director on record saying, I know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just crazy takes, but the Millennial Misery one was what Alina came out with.
Yeah.
And looking at the poster now...
Yeah, because they took a bunch of pictures to pay homage.
We're lucky, we're lucky that we can be like, what is it going to be?
Yeah.
And then from the interviews, it seems like the trailer is going to have to showcase the big reveal. So I think the closer we start getting into, go watch the movie. But if we were to take the guess of what
we're
the trailer's
talking
gonna
about
be,
isn't even like a real spoiler. It's like
no,
the first
it's
act
be the
spoiler.
plot of, it's the plot of the
It's
movie.
the plot
and
of
that's
the movie.
Again,
and I didn't feel like when it happened, I wasn't so much like, oh, no. It's not like Companion, where it's like, you guys gave that away, and then the whole like first 20 minutes of your movie, you're trying to tease it. But the poster shows me what you're doing. I didn't have to see a trailer. So it's like, I don't think it's going to have that same reaction. I think it's actually going to be part of the hook to pull people in.
Yeah, just push it in. Because, I mean, right now on Letterboxd, they took that picture where it is Millennial Misery. She's holding the thing.
But then
he's up there.
We're saying that, and that almost makes it sound like it's a little bit more of a lurker situation.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
They've mentioned misery as an inspiration.
Yeah, you're paying homage to just the escalation. And
I did not realize they've known each other for that long. They said they even wrote it for
Molly
your boy.
and Logan?
No. Well,
no,
maybe
the director,
Logan, but Molly and Sophie. Yeah,
Molly and Sophie. Okay.
Yeah.
So they were just like,
is...
what if the times where we were like, oh, I would just do something to that guy. What if we made a movie where we did, where we didn't stop and actually went ahead and did it? What's the craziest thing we could possibly do? I want to say they kind of
did bring that up in the Q&A a little bit. I want to say, I can't remember, but I want to say that did kind of come up in the Q&A a little bit, or that might have just been me following over from Bunny Lover, but it was.
But it kind of showcases okay, you guys have all of these scenarios in the dating world. I think there's a specific FaceTime call that she makes with a parent that I think really brings that into fruition. But
because don't you wish sometimes, I wish I could just keep that, I wish I could just force that person to listen to what I have to say.
Yeah, it's all about communication and all of these, situational things that happen with couples who may be thinking one thing and they're assuming the other person is thinking it that way as well.
Yeah.
And what do you do when it's not, and how do you play off of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the thing is that there's kind of a turning point in the movie where it becomes less about the interpersonal awkwardness of a new relationship and more of just a farcical, how are we going to get away with this kind of comedy? And as much as I really like the new characters, I kind of wanted to stay in the first half of the movie.
Yeah,
I'm
a
little bit more on
agree
your
with
side with that, yeah.
I actually do agree with that.
They did say, the guy from Search Party, who
John
you and I
Reynolds.
thought looked a little too old.
Yeah.
He has acknowledged it, and he said they wrote it for him. He did not have to audition.
Yeah.
So because of that, he's able to be in this part, but he was like, I know I look like everyone's father, but if people can just write more roles like this, that would be great.
I honestly do. It was good, but I actually do feel like if they had waited a little bit to introduce Geraldine and then never brought that John character, it probably would have even been stronger. Because I kind of agree with you. It is so much stronger earlier on, but I get that maybe they felt like they needed to add tension somewhere to have some kind of outside. But I feel like she never needed to physically be there to get that thing. I don't know. There's different ways it could have gone that might have made it better, but I just kind of walked away feeling really excited about it by the end anyway. But I can definitely agree.
And a lot of it really just relies on the strength of that cast, because like even if the characters aren't necessarily like where I wanted to see it go, like I really liked seeing Geraldine Viswanathan and John Reynolds. I think Molly Gordon in particular is very funny, sort of riding this line of sanity
the funniest
through a lot of the
seen
film. I mean, not as funny as Theater Camp, but she probably has more to do here.
A little bit more dramatic, but I think she's been better at other stuff.
I want to say that there's highlights in this that are funnier than Theater
French
Camp.
Toast? Oh,
dude,
my
the French
God.
Toast, that's so funny.
Yeah.
And
I
then,
wanted to stay in that tone specifically.
I know. But
Thank you.
But I do think that
agree.
there's but I do think there's moments where she's like bouncing off of Geraldine that end up getting really funny too. It's like when she more realizes like, oh, I did. This is real. I fucked you.
When they have to say it out loud and stuff, And there were other elements where I was like, okay, this is an interesting way to take it. And when you hear them talk about it, they're like, yeah, those were routes that we took when our loved ones did not like us. And we went, what if we went this route and tried these things? And I was like, that makes so much more sense why that's a plot line in the movie. Yeah. But they carry it. Like, it's not throwaway jokes. It becomes integral bits to the movie. And I, for the most part, I gave it a 3.5. I had a good time with it. I was comparing it a lot to Together. I think I prefer that couple movie a little bit more.
Oddly enough, I'm the opposite. For some reason, I think I like
soundtrack.
More. Yeah, it does. It's good. Yeah,
the soundtrack is so good on this.
Yeah, it's good.
I'll be interested to see what they keep, what they don't keep, because this got picked up, but doesn't have a release, or it's not picked up.
I don't think this one got picked up yet, as far as I know.
Rough. Damn.
Not a lot of things have yet.
It's been a slow Sundance in terms of sales, but like I have to imagine this will find a suitor, because it is kind of like a sticky premise. I think it's this very sellable movie, especially if you reveal that twist in the trailer. I would be surprised if this one stays on the shelf for a long time.
So Sophie is the writer, but they got Molly and Sophie credited as stories, so this must have been something they came up with
they're cooking.
at 18.
I love that.
Look, when it hits, it hits. I just wish I had more of those highs, but it did not. Sometimes it would go a little low.
That's fair. This is one I definitely want to revisit.
Good time.
I'd like to revisit it. Yeah.
All right, so I think that's most of our thoughts on Oh Hi. That was Arturo's Rita. It's also Amanda the Jedi. I'm Zachary Shevich, and this is the Intercut podcast. Stick with us for more reviews out of the festival. Thanks again for tuning in, and remember, until next time, shout out to Nissan.